And it's aloha, oneness with the breath of eternal life, the power that interconnects all things and animates our hearts and then fills us with that love that we share. And that's that infinity wave. So that's the true physics, biophysics, quantum physics, and nuclear physics, because there's a fusion of that coming together and release of charge and implosion. It's like a hard orgasm.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful everyone is here. We're going to have a fantastic, exciting conversation today. Everyone, how are you doing in terms of the expo? You having a good time? Great. You're learning a lot, having a great experience. We're going to do a lot of learning today. That is one of my favorite things to do. I'm Lisa Garr. I host the Aware Show and Coast to Coast AM. I have a show on Gaia TV and have been doing this for 20 years. And one of my main missions in life is to do this exact thing. I had a download a long time ago that said, you are going to communicate information that inspires positive growth and change. And that is what I've been doing for 20 years on the Aware Show, and that's what we're going to do here today. We're talking about radical healing. All of the information that you've learned this weekend and you're going to continue to learn requires a super active, engaged brain, a very engaged body that has energy production and that wants to be eager and motivated to learn, someone that needs to connect with each other and have great relationships and great bonding and really tap into that intuition. All of that happens when your body and brain is firing and wiring together in an active way. I know both sides of this. I've had a horrible, tragic brain injury that I had to recover from, heal myself from, and thank God, because of all of the knowledge that I've gained from people like this, have regrown a very functioning brain. I did not have this. I didn't have this ability to speak, and I didn't think I was ever going to regain it. And then I had a second one. Healing is possible, my friends. Healing is possible. I'm a living, breathing example of that. And that is why I'm always so interested in cutting-edge health modalities. It's enough to take your supplements and so forth, but there's always new discoveries in health, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. This panel is the dream team of who is out there creating and producing new things in the world. So because this is called a radical healing panel, I am going to ask, first of all, as I introduce you, what does radical healing mean to you? And I'm going to ask each one of you that when we go through the panel as I introduce who this incredible dream team is. And then what we're going to do after we do a few other questions with the panel is I really want to have you engaged in this conversation. This isn't just a talking at you conversation. I want your questions. Start thinking about what have you done that's worked? What have you done that hasn't worked? What are some of your questions about your health challenges? And look, utilize this dream team up here for your answers. This is an active, engaged panel and room. So we're all in a unified field together here in this room right now. We're all here for information. You're all bright, beautiful, shining souls. And let's collectively get together and let's collectively raise the information that we're bringing out to the world with this panel today. Let's make something happen. Let's make a difference, okay? All right, great. My favorite thing to do. One of my most amazing guests on my Gaia show, David Avocado Wolf. He is known as the blender chef on my Gaia show, but so much more than that. Probably one of my most viewed shows. He is an expert in organic superfoods and herbalism, 30 years of dedicated experience, hosted thousands of live events, and he is a medical freedom warrior that will inspire you to have the best day ever. I love you. David, what does radical health really mean to you?
It's an alignment of emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual well-being.
It's an alignment with all.
It's an alignment, right? So like Socrates said, all knowledge is just remembering. And so all health is just about alignment. And it's a vibrational discrepancy that causes ill health. And so we're a noble organism. If you look kind of closely at what the world's trying to do, is trying to remove the human from the center and say, oh, there's something wrong with the human. We have to put it over here. Or there's something bad, or you need medicine or something. There's nothing wrong with you. Everything's perfect, divine as it is. All you have to do is just not do anything. So one of my favorite things ever Nothing is better for pain. Don't do anything. Do nothing. Right? Just when you do nothing, then you realize, oh, this is what's causing my pain. Then you realize what's causing it and how to fix it. What an amazing thing. So nothing is better for pain. So ultimately at the bottom of everything, prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting.
Yes, you have been at the forefront of that for a very long time. Dame Dr. Sandra Rose Michael. It's quite the title there, my dear. She has taught holistic health for over 4 decades. You have a lot of experience here. And has invented the first effective scalar healing light chamber. That was in 1978. And has been knighted for her humanitarian service, utilizing this technology. Her lifelong award-winning work, Applied Integrative Biophysics, has earned her wonderful recognition worldwide. What is radical healing to you? Radical healing.
Well, one of the things that I used to say, I was going to do a card, that Dame Kahuna witch doctor.
Is that what
That's kind of radical, right? And I could really carry that one off, that Dame Kahuna witch doctor.
Own it.
But anyway, that's a little radical. No, radical healing to me is radical self-love. You know, alignment with true best and highest interest, no matter what. No excuses, no matter what. Alignment with true best and highest.
Yes.
And radical self-love is, you know, if you love yourself, you're not going to do even a negative thought to yourself, right? Every thought creates. And if you knew what that anger or frustration or road rage or whatever it was, or, you know, suppressed anger at, you know, whatever you went through with your parents, or if you knew what that was doing in your body, the most destructive emotion in the body is anger. So everybody take a real deep breath. What if you could let go of anything and everything that no longer serves your true best and highest interest right now? So breathe in all the power, all the light, all the love of the entire multiverse, of all of God and Goddess, right into your heart. Let a little more in because we need more love here. You can expand all of your capacities for love. Aloha. And you can say alo effing ha. Okay.
Aloha. Beautiful. Jerry Sargent, an icon. He is an alchemical wizard, and probably can bilocate if I know your true power. He is globally recognized as a healer and transformational expert who has redefined our understanding of total health and well-being. His groundbreaking approach merges subtle energy, quantum physics, visualization, and intention to catalyze profound transformations. What is radical healing to you, Jerry?
I think it's a choice. Just to be pure, to be in alignment with the deepest parts of your soul. You know, all of the time we're moving through time and space and we're casting spells. We're alchemists, witches, wizards, and we're casting spells with our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. And when we're coming from that deep space of purity, we're coming from that deep space of love, then all of our thoughts, all of our words, all of our emotions, everything that we're catalyzing from that pure state of consciousness is just going to allow us to be the frequency of love, and that frequency is already healed. There's no healing to take place. It's going beyond the need to actually heal and to realize that we're actually the way we're supposed to be anyway. Get rid of all of that human stuff. You know, like on our t-shirt, we got unfuckwithable. You know, like if you walk around with that unfuckwithable mindset, you are so focused and locked in to exactly who you are. You know who you are at such a deep level that the bullshit in this world doesn't affect you. Other people's judgments, none of the stuff. You just are who you are. You're an unfuckwithable, alchemical, spiritual gangster. And you just move through time and space crushing it. And that's where it's at, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I think we all just got a great healing. Dame Sandra Viskind, because she is so kind, and a spiritual mentor, energy master, #1 best-selling author who helps people transform emotionally, physically, and mentally. Again, more than 40 years of spiritual mediumship and award-winning business wisdom to create a totally transformational experiences. What is radical healing to you?
When I was 3, a being appeared to me.
Oh, your mic.
Yeah.
There you go. Just bring it a little closer.
When I was
Yep.
3, a
There.
being appeared to me, and he said his name was Jesus. And he said to me, "You are a child of God and you are love, and you are here to remind people that that is who they are." And when I went to my mother and said, "What does Jesus talk to you about at night?" She went, "What does he talk to you about?" Because that was not a name that was in our home. So she had no idea how I could even know that name. And right from that age, I understood why I was here. I was on a mission to help end suffering. Because if you're not love, and I love what everyone has said so far. If you're not love, then you're in a state of fear, anger, anxiety, or whatever. Love is the baseline of what we have come here to experience. So if you're not experiencing that, you have to ask yourself, what is in my unconscious mind, not conscious, not interested in the stories, what is in my unconscious mind that is being triggered, that has taken me out of a place of love where I can heal and be the very best high-frequency divine version of myself. And so that's what you need to do. And everybody needs to do this. I've heard it in all the different ways here. I love the unfuckwithable. I got it. I'm going, just when you're being triggered, you're not going to blame someone else. You're not going to complain. You're not a victim. When you're being triggered because something within your being, either from past, present, or future lives, is going, "Oh no, this is not right." But of course, if you become neutral and stay strong, which for me is really radical healing. Neutrality is another word for enlightenment, being strong to your programs, your stories that are trying to create suffering and sickness. You've got it made as a human being, because that's what we're here for. And that's one of the things that I love about doing this work and being on this panel with these people. Because can you guys feel the frequency in this room as we're all speaking? What's happening to it?
Getting right.
It's doing this, isn't it? Just tap into your heart for a moment. Just tap in. And just say, "I am love." I'm love. I am love. And there isn't any room for anything else. Because the frequency blocker to love is fear. And I've heard it's anger as well. And as the frequency blocker to love is fear, then whenever you go into fear, you go, "Okay, what's triggered that?" You're just asking questions. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You've just got a program that's dropped in that you need to work with. And that's the work I've been doing for almost 50 years, is going into people's unconscious mind and neutralizing and deleting the stories, the programs, the ideas that are sabotaging your ability to live the life that you want. That's called radical healing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I love that idea of neutrality. It's so easy right now to get triggered in our world, and if you can maintain your neutrality, that is maintaining your own superiority, your own energy. Is neutrality. It's key. Shaman Duric is a 6th-generation shaman, one of the author of Spiritual Hacking, Shamanic Keys to Reclaim Your Personal Power, and his online shaman and healing temple are instrumental in helping people tap into their personal power and unlock negative patterns that we've been talking about here. Tell me, radical healing, what does it mean to you?
So radical healing to me is about disconnecting from what I call taking on the emotional, empathic suffering. We call it reflective suffering in shamanism. It means that you use your vessel to tell a story of the pain that you've seen in others and in the world. And so a lot of times when people go into healing, they think it's something that they have done or something that they are not right with. And what they don't understand is that we are channelers. Each and every human being is channeling energy from every type of dimension, from subdimensions, interdimensions, intergalactic dimensions, earth planes, underworld planes, middle planes, and above planes. And so when someone is speaking and opening their mouth, you can tell within the first 2 sentences if they're where they are in that dimensional field of channeling. So a lot of times we weren't taught as children to understand, where are you channeling from? Is my parents channeling from the right place? Are my friends channeling? Because we want to channel directly from the highest realm of love. And then there's a lot of people on earth who also use their vessel as a reflective mirror of human suffering. So a lot of times they'll go through every type of healing technique to do everything they can, and it doesn't end because they don't realize that the suffering, they're using their vessel to say, see the suffering in the world that I saw in my mom or my dad or this person or the people who are suffering across the planet. I'm using my vessel to show you what suffering looks like from that perspective in me. And so as we become more aware that spirit is so instrumental. And I say this to people all the time because people always mention like they have these gifts. You have a gift, and I don't believe in gifts. I believe that this is your natural birthright. Yes. Your natural birthright is to speak to spirit. Your natural birthright is to talk to the animals in nature. Your natural birthright is to communicate with the nature spirits. And what has happened to us on earth is that we've been pulled from our natural umbilical cord, which connects us to Gaia, connects us to the spirit world. And that is where we get all of our insurgence to channel the right frequencies in our being. So we know not to mess with things that were in its natural order, to not change things to make them brighter or bigger or fatter or plumpier or whatever it is that they're doing it with food to these days. But to understand that there is a natural rhythm that the spirits hold, and when we are in sync with that rhythm, when we are communicating that rhythm, when we don't gossip and spend time wasting our energies on nothingness that is not enlifting us and shifting us and making us feel alive, radical healing is the emancipation from those things that distract us from that which is truly inherent in us. And as you say, it's love.
Yeah.
That is the highest order. Thank you. Yes. Baue, that's what we got up here. Melissa Fike is a multidimensional channel, best-selling author of A Radical Approach to the Akashic Records, Master Your Life and Raise Your Vibration. And she works with multidimensional beings who have activated the light language within her, light codes, glyphs, keys, and frequencies to activate star seeds. Tell me, it's in the title of your book, what is radical healing?
It is my title of my book. Got to be a little radical. Hello, loves. How are you all? Sending you all love. To me, it's letting go and awareness. Because when you let go of the lower states of consciousness, the things that are holding you back from being who you're truly to be, and awareness of what are the belief systems and the other energies that you are feeding in the world and within yourself. And I'll explain this because I watch people in lack, let's say just lack, and they'll feed this like energy cloud of lack, and then that cloud will start to feed them. And that's part of our morphogenic field or the collective consciousness. And we are feeding it every single moment of your life. You're feeding it, and sometimes subconsciously. But as soon as you become aware, wait a minute, what I just said was lack or at a lower frequency. That awareness and then letting go and not holding it as your truth, then you have radical healing. Because your healing is about you being you. And we're unique souls. Most of you are, I'm just looking at the energy in the room, most of you are travelers, you're adventurers, So this isn't your first planetary experience here. And you know this, but you came at a radical time. This time period that we are in, it is radical. And you are making that choice every single moment of who you want to be. And if you have a human moment, that's okay. Do not beat yourself up for that at all, please, I beg you. Go, that was interesting, human. Little human that you are, that was so cool. What you want to do is say, okay, thank you for showing me my human. I'm going to own it. I'm going to be aware of it. And I'm also going to acknowledge it and then let go of all the lower states of consciousness and the lower traumas and unconscious programming. You know what that is. And just say, okay, how can I just release that and surrender it? Because when you surrender it, then it's no longer part of you.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Yes. Wow, we've got a great theme going here. Great theme. Blake Baue is the author of the international best-selling and widely translated book, You Were Not Born to Suffer. Newsflash. He has helped thousands of people heal who could not find lasting solutions from conventional medicine, psychology, and religion, and he teaches us how to love ourselves. Blake, what is radical healing to you?
Thanks, Lisa. And thank you, everybody. Everybody's answers have been so powerful and wonderful, so I can only compliment everybody a little bit. But the first couple things coming to mind are, one is 100% responsibility. We all find ourselves blaming and complaining at times, and those are places where we feel disempowered, right? Not in our power. And we're really good at giving our power away. And some of you might be inclined to give your power away to people like us who might be considered experts, or you give your power away to your doctor or to your therapist. And so 100% responsibility is owning that you have everything you need inside of you to heal. You are a miracle created, if you believe in a higher power, created by God, the universe, and you have everything you need already inside of yourself to heal, but nobody taught us how to take care of ourselves from a young age. So going back to this theme of self-love, I believe that most disease and suffering comes back to us never learning how to love ourselves as children. So the universe gave you your body, your being, which I think is like a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini, whatever your favorite fine-tuned machine is, but no one ever taught you how to drive it, okay? And what we all need to learn, and what I all think we're here learning, is how do I learn how to not hurt myself with my thoughts and my habits from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. And so you can't heal until you learn how to stop hurting yourself with your thoughts, your habits, and your decisions from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Thankfully, there are very clear laws, like the laws of physics, that govern optimal human health, and I think we're going to talk about those today.
Yes. Yes, it's so interesting that the consensus here with every one of these experts, with the combined, 200 years of experience up here, is that radical healing is widely responsible with your thoughts. It is your thoughts, like you said, it's casting a spell with our thoughts every day. Every single one of these people, we're talking about a health panel here, and everyone has said it is your thoughts that create your health. So what I want to ask, and this could be to anyone who wants to answer, and I know that Sandra Viskin has to leave because she has another event at the top of the hour, so maybe you could start, is what happens if we don't know that our thoughts are the ones that are, that we're just living in our reality, and this is our reality, and our family's reality, and our friends' reality, and the reality that we've created around us. How do we actually get out of that thought bubble?
Yeah, that's the best question ever, because that's about most people don't know,
right?
And that's because we are governed by our unconscious mind over 95% of the time. Now, if that's scary to you, it should be, because it means that you think that your thoughts are in control and that you have control, but if you're ignoring what is underneath it all, if you're ignoring the unconscious stories, if you're ignoring your past conditioning, then you're going to be on that hamster wheel. And I have people come to me all the time and say, oh, I'm suffering because of this. And then when I tap into the matrix of your soul and go into the unconscious mind, I'm going, yeah, I can see that you're suffering there, but guess what? It is actually coming from here. And they go, but I wouldn't have even thought that, right? So my suggestion is find a way to be able to tap into your own unconscious mind. And one of the best ways you can do it is say, did I stay strong for that thought or did I go weak? How many of you know when you say something that you can go weak? Come on. Everybody, you know. If you lie, what happens? You go weak. Right? And you can lie by saying that you're great when you're not great, when somebody asks you. And you know that you go weak. And guess what? Everybody knows everything. So people know when you go weak, when you're talking. They can pick up that there's an unconscious program running, but can you? So my suggestion is start testing yourself for weak and strong. Because when I'm working with a private client, that's what I do. Every time they're talking to me, I'm going, oh, they went weak there. That's exciting. I get very excited if you go weak when you're talking about a thought or something that's happening for you, because then I know we've just discovered an unconscious program, right? So when you're going weak, it is an unconscious program that has reared up and gone, look at me, I'm the culprit, fix me, right? And then when you can neutralize the events, emotions, and decisions of the past and get completely neutral to them so they no longer trigger you, and I do that on a quantum level and then bring it into a level here, on this level as well, then you're free and clear. Mm-hmm. And please understand this. Every single human being has unconscious programs running them. So when you hear someone and they have a slip in their magnificence, and they hurt you, or you have a slip in your magnificence and you hurt someone, know that that's an unconscious program that's reared its ugly head, and it's time to do what you need to do, right? So work with people here. The book, one of my international #1 bestsellers is called Codebreaker. Discover the password to unlock the best version of you. And guess what? In that book, it gives you the whole system of how to get neutral to your unconscious programs.
Key. And that is key.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's all the codes are in the book. So you don't need me, just get the information, but you do need to do the inner work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, who else wants to take a go at the, yes. Oh, I'm sorry, who raised their hand? Yes, Shaman Duric, yes. Yeah. And I'll come over here.
So for me, it's about honoring the divine feminine. So the feminine energy of our mother God, our mother spirit, which operates in the deep womb of the unknown, is the aspect that lets you understand the frequencies and vibrations of energy and how they affect you. Your masculine mind, which we call in shamanism the seed, right, goes into the divine feminine. And the divine feminine then looks at that seed and then expands it out into the world through magnetic energies and so forth. And then you pull those energies back to you, and then you have these experiences called life experiences. So the way we look at it is that your feminine energy is your gauge. You know, since the time you were a kid, when you were going to get in trouble, you would search your feelings. Your feminine energy would search the room and go, is mom and dad mad at me? Am I going to get in trouble? Is someone upset? We have this ability, but then what happens is we start trying to entrain ourselves into the very masculine way of operating, which is thinking ourselves, solving problems, so forth. But here's an interesting thing that a lot of people don't know that we know in shamanism. So in tribal culture, it was the women who decided where the tribe would migrate to. It was the women who decided where the danger was, because they have a higher developed amygdala and they can sense danger faster than male animals and male men can. So they were the ones who knew what was best to raise children, where the water was, and so forth. So we have this natural feminine energy inside in our bodies called our emotions. And our emotions can gauge. So when you're a kid and you're experiencing something, your emotions are already feeling if it feels good. If someone says something, you know if it feels high vibration or if it's low vibration. It's not brain science. It's a part of your cosmology. So what we say is that when we honor more of the divine feminine, when we start being comfortable allowing that feminine place, because the masculine mind can only pull information from the past. It can only take things that you've experienced and then give you base ideas based on those experiences. Whereas the feminine is the unknown. It lives in the unknown. It knows the unknown. It is the deep, dark womb of the universe. And in that space, it allows you to know if something is high vibration and low vibration. So I can just sit in front of someone and just spend time with them, and I can feel how my feelings feel. And then once I listen to my divine feminine, and anytime I make a decision in life, I don't go to my masculine mind. In ancient times, we never went to our mind. We went to our heart, and we went to our emotions. And so I just say, divine feminine, what is your wisdom on this? What is your counsel? And it says, do not engage in this energy. This is danger. So then I do the opposite. And the more I start also listening to women and listening to women, let them speak freely, because women hold that foundation of bringing that energy forth. The more we keep lifting the feminine, the more we're going to be able to bring more emotional intelligence into our communities and into society again, the way we did in tribal ways. And we're going to be able to start honoring each other and seeing each other and holding space for each other instead of trying to change or fix or point out or judge. And I think that's where we gain our ability to recognize when those things aren't there.
I think every woman in this room could be smiling now.
Yes. I mean, actually, Jerry, you said that we cast spells with our thoughts. So they might be unconscious, that we're casting spells with our thoughts, or we get angry at the television, or we get angry with what's happening with our, mother or something. How do you change the program? How do you change the spell?
Fastest way to do it is to come to one of our deep in space retreats, lie on a mattress, listen to some awesome music and drink ayahuasca for 10 days. And that will sort you out. That's the quickest and the simplest way to do it.
Okay, thank you. And I'm just kidding.
If you don't want to do that, there's another option. So, there's a 0.25 second window between stimulus and response. And most of us are bouncing around in our heads. And so when people see things or people say things, we react. There's no thought process in place because the window is so short. When you start breathing deeply into your body and you breathe consciously from the moment you wake up and you make conscious breathing a thing. When you breathe into your belly, you activate your calm receptors. When you breathe into your chest, you activate your fear receptors. So you start getting up in the morning and just breathing. And just walking through your day, breathing long, slow, deep breaths. And that's going to open up that space. That 0.25 second window is going to diminish. You're going to have seconds, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. That time span just increases. And when things are happening in your world, you can observe them and you don't react, and you've got that space to make conscious choice, conscious change. And then that level of awareness increases, and then you can see and feel what is happening. And when you see and feel what is happening, you realize that it's just all a load of bullshit. None of it really matters. All of this stuff that we react to, it should never, ever, ever have any opportunity to enter our brain space. But because of that short fuse, we react all the time. Just kind of adding on to what Duric said as well about this feminine stuff. We developed a meditation. Okay, it's really, really important. Like we developed a meditation that we share with people on our level 1 training. And what we do is we take your consciousness into your heart, and then we bring your consciousness up into your left brain. And then from your left brain, you go and view reality, okay, which is the male brain. And when you look at reality through your left brain, it's black and it's dark and it's rigid and it's stiff and it's inflexible. And then you bring your consciousness into your right brain. You bring your consciousness out from your right brain and you view the space. Everything's flowing. Everything's cold. Everything's moving and rainbow colors and beautiful. So if we can kind of bring our consciousness, you guys can try it when you leave today. Just go into meditation, bring your consciousness up into your right brain and go and look at reality. It's so fucking different from the left brain. And why would you want to operate from that left male brain? It processes 7 bits of data per second. It reads between the lines, stacks things on shelves. The only thing it's really good for is if I want to meet you at 2 p.m. on Thursday afternoon, you're going to end up there. If you try and get there from the right brain, you're never going to get there at Thursday at 2 p.m. So the left brain has its place. But if we can start operating from this female hemisphere, being in our heart, breathing deeply, all of these programs will just melt and disappear.
Yes. That's beautiful. Yes, yes. Absolutely. And Blake wanted to chime in, and then I'm going to change the question. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. My suggestion is 10 minutes of meditation first thing when you wake up in the morning. Because when you wake up and you're coming out of sleep, how many people can relate to your mind being all over the place? You're feeling anxious and spread thin before you get out of bed, right? Okay. So what we're not often aware of is that the thoughts and the energies that are activated when we open our eyes and we're coming out of sleep, coming out of the dream state, are actually creating our reality, the reality we're about to walk into in the morning. And so if you wake up thinking, fuck my life, I don't want to go to work, I don't want to deal with my partner, I don't want to deal with my children, and that's what you're thinking about before you get out of bed, you're activating the parts of your brain and your neural networks and your nervous system that are associated with fear, stress, high levels of cortisol. So most of the people in the room are actually making themselves sick before you even get out of bed, okay? So, it's for real. Okay? And so meditating first thing in the morning is the most practical thing you could do to heal the thoughts that we're talking about. And I like to say, if you don't go to the core of your mind and heal the core of your mind where your thoughts begin, there's always going to be an aspect of your psyche that feels like a victim because you're going to feel disempowered. But if you start meditating first thing in the morning, instead of being the victim of the wild horses, you can train them and say, this is where I'm going and why, and stop being the victim of those thoughts, okay?
Yes.
Yeah?
That's so great. So how many of you learned something from that are going to actually make a difference in what you do in your thought process next time? Do you have a new technique here that we've understood the importance of it, but now you've got some great tools here. Really commit to what you're going to do when you walk out of here or the minute that you have your next interaction with someone. How are you going to think differently? So that was huge, and I just want to make sure that landed so that we all can look. There's several hundred people in this room. If we all did something super kind to ourselves and somebody else, we would have a ripple effect in this entire building today. So let's do that, okay? All right?
Yes.
All right? Okay, good. Now, yes. My next question is about what's new. Like, what new cutting-edge, great workable technology are you using right now that is just rocking your world, your clients' worlds? What is it that is up for you that is super exciting, David? Yes.
It's always ancient, old, brand new. You just reach back into the past, and there'll be something. I've said this for years. So I'm a plant person. I'm a tree planter. We planted 1.45 million trees in the world. Fruit, edible trees. Fruit, nut, and medicinal trees. Fruits like apples, nuts like walnuts, and medicinal trees like neem. All over the world. Thanks to your support. Thank you so much. So in that world, I always say this. Apples have something crazy to teach us we've never realized. What's in the root bark of an apple? Because an apple is your heart. And so there's definitely medicines for your heart in an apple tree. We know that the relative hawthorn is one of the greatest heart medicines there is. What's in the root bark? What's going on with the cacao tree? What's in the cacao? What's in the chocolate tree? What's going on there? So one of the things that we stumbled into, and it's just, I am so sorry that we sold out of that yesterday because I would love to just feed every one of you, and some of you got this. But the simplest thing was we take the cacaos. It's called the final cacao down. Who can get the final cacao down? And we play that song on repeat. It's the final cacao down. AJ's working for Amazonian jungle peanuts, but all he wants is cacao. It's really fun in my kitchen. Anyway, so we have Oompa Loompas in the kitchen. We get the cacaos, and we crack the cacao pods open, and we get the whole fruit right out. So it's all the beans and all the pulp of cacao. Oh, my God. Anyway, and we throw that immediately into the freeze dryer. It's like the freshest product ever. And then you eat that, and 97% of the nutrients are intact. And now the reason why I say this, and this is coming up, is because chocolate is the best food ever.
Yes.
Chocolate is the food of the gods. Yeah, okay, so after all this time and everything that's going on, and you think, oh, I've had the best chocolate in the world, chocolate's given all the secrets, all this time, I'm like, no, there's more, and there's still more, even beyond what I'm saying here, but this is where we are now. So then we started freeze-drying cacao beans, and just when you pull the tray out of freeze-dried cacao beans, the patterns and what you see, that's a whole lecture I could show you. It's like the ether forces are captured, just like a moto captured with the messages of water. It's the ether forces are captured in the freeze drying process. That's a whole thing I'd love to show you, and it's like you'll go, whoa, what? Incredible. When you eat it, you go, this is the crunch that I've always wanted.
Yes.
This is the crunch, and I'm gonna fast right now, so I've been looking at everyone eating. I'm like, just be nice, just have one of those, just crunch that, because we all want the perfect crunch. And it's there. And so what a crazy discovery. So that's what's got me lit up lately.
A lot of
right there.
in that too.
Yeah. It's the most nutritious nut in the world.
Yes, that's wonderful. So, Sandra Rose, tell me what is new? What's the newest technology? I know you have one that's been working for 40 years. What's new about it, or within it?
What's new about it? Oh gosh, every moment is new with it. It's like it never ceases to amaze me. Of course, we brought our technology out. It started in 1996, 97, and NASA showed up at the door, and that was kind of radical.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was radical. And so we've done a lot of research over the years. But I'm going to share with you one of my favorite recent stories that just touched my heart. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of it's every day I live for the miracles. That's what keeps us going. It's what keeps us doing what we do in spite of everything. No matter what, you stay on purpose and you keep going. And God's only a breath away ever. Everybody's heard about the breath, right? It's so, so vitally important. And it's aloha, oneness with the breath of eternal life, the energy, the power that interconnects all things and animates our hearts and then fills us with that love that we share. And that's that infinity wave. It's a scalar wave. So that's the true physics, biophysics, quantum physics, and nuclear physics, because in that there's a fusion of that coming together and release of charge and implosion. It's like a hard orgasm. Okay. Juicy. Implosion, a release of charge that flows out infinitely to touch the hearts of all beings, to feel more love. And that's what we created my technology to do, and it interfaces with the DNA. And radical, it's actually lengthening the telomeres and repairing all the damage, all the breaks in the DNA. Because I was asked to create the counterpoint to all the abuse of Tesla's work. All the, all the mind control fuckery. All the radiation, because it reverses all the issues of radiation. All the issues of radiation. Think about it. When you have that right charge and that unified light within you, activation of that radical light that's within the very core of your DNA. It's stardust. That's pure science. When you activate that light within you, as we radiate light, nothing that is not of the light can affect us. We are radical beings, bodies of light, and that's the pure science. But one of my stories, I don't think my team wanted me to tell this one yesterday, but I'm going to tell it anyway. You're a bigger group today. But now I got a call from South Africa, about a woman's had, and her husband was, MIT and was, head of bank and all that. And this woman, a black woman, beautiful black woman, has had this orphanage in South Africa for a couple decades, a little more. And I got this whole story of how this girl, at 1 month old, HIV positive, parents were dying or what, and she was brought to the orphanage. She was 1 month old, and this woman had had her at the orphanage since she was a month. And she's now 22, HIV positive, and in her 7th month of pregnancy, she heard that the baby was deformed, the baby wasn't growing, she was in really dire condition, really dire shape. And they got her to our EESystem in Johannesburg. And the baby started growing, and the baby's born beautiful and perfect, was born in October this last year. Beautiful, bouncing baby boy. And that's what I live for, these crazy miracles. So that orphanage is now 240 kids, and it's a school. It's it's a school and a church, and this woman is just an amazing, enlightened being that has it. And 240 kids, 40, 50 staff, and we're putting the technology in for that school.
That's wonderful. Congratulations. And you can experience the technology in the second floor here, right here.
Yeah, the Hall of Healing.
Hall of Healing room,
We
yes.
have, for the first time ever, Michael Scalar is here somewhere. I don't know where he is, maybe. Michael Scalar.
Great.
He does all the heavy lifting for us. He's my son.
And you can sit in that and experience the technology that is being talked about.
It's
So
4 EE cubes precisely aligned, which we've never done, and it's radical. You feel it right away.
Yeah.
The cells get excited. It's like multiple cellular orgasmic experience. I recommend you go there.
And if anyone took a plane here, it's a great way to let go of that radiation. Jerry,
I have to go.
you have to go. Okay, so could you just, what is new for you, my love?
Well, I love exactly everything that Sandra was saying, because for me, phototherapy, light technology is it. And if you're here, you notice that there's light coming up everywhere. Everybody's talking about light. And I've been using the LifeWave light therapy system, for reverse aging system, for 5 years. And the reason why it's so important to me is because, like Sandra, that means lover of mankind, by the way, our names, like Sandra, the miracles that happen every day are phenomenal. You put one little patch on, there's nothing in it, there's no big pharma. By the way, is there anybody here from the FDA? No. Okay, all right. So if there's not, I can tell you that this little patch, the scientist has designed it to clean up your old stem cells, create new stem cells in your body by activating GHKCU, which is copper peptide. So every patch has an information system that goes to the part of your body that needs it most. And he's bringing out a water machine in July that has saved my husband's life. My husband had multiple myeloma cancer, and when he found out that he had the cancer, he said, I'm going to send you something from my lab. And he sent me 2 light plates and a beaker of light, a beaker with water. Daniel drank that water every day for a month, and he was in complete remission. Wow. And I said to this scientist, what the hell did you do to that water? And he said, I structured that water to rupture cancer cells. That machine is coming out in July from LifeWave, and in the meantime, If you want to reverse age, I'm in my 70s now. I've never felt stronger. This is a miracle. We're all miracles sitting here because of our thought processes, our spirituality, and the tools that we use. So every one of you as a light worker needs to really think about putting these little white stickers on your body so that they can help you with everything that you're doing. I have to go because I'm about to talk for 1 hour about LifeWave.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I just want to
being
thank you. You are beautiful. We can all feel your energy up here. And I just want to thank you for being the perfect divine beings that you are. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so continuing along the lines of the conversation of what's the newest technology, and I'll continue with you, Jerry, that you're using that is really making a huge difference. What are you excited about?
It's old and new, kind of like what David was saying, you know. And this is a head fuck for a lot of people. And it really pisses a lot of people off. So a lot of people, you know, they play around with the flower of life and the Fibonacci sequence, these mathematics. They're false geometries, okay? The Fibonacci, you have like 1 + 2 = 3, 2 + 3 = 5, 3 + 5 = 8. 8 doesn't link back to the 0 point. 8 has to eat 5 and 3 to create itself. A little bit like the world we've been growing up in. It's a dog-eat-dog world. I need to crush that human being to get up the ladder. Instead of, oh, how can this human being and me rise up, grow up the ladder together? When you look at the crystalline mathematics, you've got 0 + 1 + 1 = 2. 0 + 1 + 1 + 2 = 4. 0 + 1 + 1 + 2 + 4 = 8. The 8 always links back to the 0 point as far as you go up the chain. The crystalline mathematics rotates out from the 0 point at a 45-degree angle. And the flower of life, which most people, so many people in here have them, necklaces and shit like that, is fucking you up. And this rotates out from the 0 point at a 60-degree rotation. And it's not connecting you to the 0 point to source. Now, we have these holographically in the quantum field. You know, people will come to our workshop that have got diabetes, they've not walked for 15 years. 3 hours later, they're getting up out of a wheelchair. People with brain tumors, the doctors say, you're going to be dead in 8 weeks. And they're still alive 6 years later. Why? Because we changed their mathematical code. Okay? You can do this with physical bodies. We donate to charities. We give back all the time. We're working with a charity in Africa at the moment that are taking kids off the street and educating them and teaching them how to build permaculture projects. They were struggling to grow crops in this garden that they had. So I gave them these stickers, these crystal flower of life stickers, the real crystal flower of life. They put them in the garden, the flowers started growing, all the trees started growing. It's all about mathematics. The whole fucking universe is about mathematics. I know I swear a lot, but I don't give a fuck. It's just part of me. So what we have to do is to recode ourselves mathematically. People talk about 12-strand DNA activation. 2 years ago, I figured it out. I went into the Giza pyramid on my birthday. I hired the whole thing for myself, for my birthday present. And I went in the dark. And I'd been shown this mathematical process by my galactic, family that I work with. I went into the king's chamber, lay down in the middle where the sarcophagus should be, not where it is now, and I activated this mathematical process, and my whole physical body turned to light. And I went up through Stargate 4. Stargate 4 is the Giza pyramid. So I went up through Stargate 4, all the way up to the God worlds, as pure consciousness, as pure light. When I came back down, I came back into my physical self, opened my eyes, sat up, and my body was facing the other way. So I knew that it had happened. And I wasn't dreaming or going through some kind of other worldly consciousness process. But what I'm saying to you is this. We're playing around with a bunch of false mathematics, okay? And it's so rife in this spiritual community. I bet loads of you in here have got the flower of life on your t-shirt, pendants and all that shit. If you don't know, you don't know, okay? But I'm telling you, so now you know. So you got a choice. to keep rolling down that pathway and keep fucking yourself up day in, day out, or go and do your own research and say, you know what, maybe that crazy guy in that unfuckwithable t-shirt knows something. So I'm going to go and connect with this real geometry. Bring it into your heart. See how it affects your body. Put it on your food. See how it raises the frequency of your food. Okay? We've done this with businesses that are really struggling. Okay? You recode their mathematics. You start putting this geometry through their business, through their accountants, through their sales, through everything. They're going from minus 50,000 in debt to earning 5 million in the first year. It's all about the mathematics. So my suggestion to everybody is look into this stuff because it's real. Okay? Stop buying these Flower of Life t-shirts and hats and wearing them because it's poisoning you. You know, at a really, really, really deep superconscious level. And it's not just affecting you on this timeline. It's affecting multiple other timelines because we're multidimensional beings. So it's not messing you up here or just messing you up here. It's messing you up on a multidimensional level. You know? So I love you all.
Wow. Wow. I'm looking around. Do I have any Flower of Life on me? Is anybody else?
All right, we'll take all your pendants. Let's bring them right up.
And where, in what form does it come, the mathematics? It comes in what form?
If you get my latest book, Activate Your Superhuman Potential, okay, everything's in there. It's in there, laid out clearly exactly what you got to do. I mean, for me, I don't need to use anything physical. It's just holographically here in the space. Once you know what it looks like and you know how to connect to it, boom, it's there. It can be small, it can be big, you can blow it up, put it around your body, you could put it around this whole space.
It's accessible to all of us.
Yeah, it's accessible to everyone. It's what we actually are. Like if you go back to the planet Tara, 560 million years ago, when we were 8, 9, 10 feet tall, we had 6 digits on each hand. Our pineal glands were 5 or 6 times bigger. We had Merkaba fields, we could travel inter and multidimensionally. We were activated, fully 12-strand activated. Okay, we were running off that crystalline code then. But as we've incarnated, Tara ended up blowing up because of the crystalline wars. Out of that planet, our galaxy got created, and Earth is remnants from some of that planet. And when we've incarnated and reincarnated over and over and over through the reincarnation cycle here on planet Earth, our gene code has been messed around with so many times. Okay, but we can reactivate that. Every single one of us. I'm no different from any of you guys. I used to smuggle drugs and guns. Okay, if I can go from a life of crime and then come to this life and do all of this kind of stuff and walk around the planet helping people get up out of wheelchairs, everyone can do it. You know, you just got to go deep into your own consciousness and see this stuff. It's there inside of you. You don't need me or anyone on this panel to help you. You just got to make a choice to go deep into the labyrinth of your own heart. You'll figure it all out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We love that.